What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fact and Stats episode. This is now episode 82. I know I've been gone away from YouTube for a while, but you could follow the Twitter page at Fact and Stats _. I do Twitter Spaces there every day at 11 a.m. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this YouTube episode. I'm gonna get back consistent on YouTube, get back consistent on TikTok, get back consistent on Instagram, and I have a guest with me, Jordan. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself, tell us who he is, tell us where we can find him at. And we're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off.
Yeah, this is Jordan. I'm normally on Twitter a lot at JordanW1096. Basketball and football mainly is where you can find me. So yeah, let's get this thing going.
I appreciate you again coming on, Jordan. For everybody that's going to listen to this YouTube episode, don't forget I said I'm more so active on Twitter Spaces. You can follow the Instagram at the Twitter page at Fact and Stats _. I'm also always have merch available. As you see, with my Facts and Stats hoodie, Facts and Stats sweatpants. You can check us out. Factsandstats.us, gear, merch, always available. Other than that, Jordan, we got the NBA season kicking off tomorrow. We got two marquee matchups. Your team actually is one of them. We got the Warriors and Lakers, and then we also have the Sixers and Celtics kicking things off. Before we dive into those matchups, within the last 72 hours, I believe, we've seen Wiggins and Jordan Poole both get extended. Pretty much after Draymond, that whole incident at practice with Draymond punching Jordan Poole in the face. But that's not the big of a deal, what we're going to discuss really. How do you feel about Jordan Poole and Wiggins' extension? How do you feel about the Warriors going forward? And also, how do you feel about Draymond not ultimately getting an extension so far?
So it was definitely a great day for the franchise. You got two really important pieces, one for their current situation and one for their future. So it was definitely nice to get those guys locked up. The Draymond situation, it was always going to be tough to get all three locked up in one summer. So the fact that they got two is really impressive. Now for Draymond, it's what can he negotiate? What can he get on the market? What are the Warriors willing to pay? And if things break right for the Warriors, they could even get Draymond under. Or Draymond could even sign his option and try to go test his market in free agency. It's a lot of dominoes. You have Clay coming up soon. So Warriors do have a lot of tough decisions to make, especially when it comes to a guy that's a big piece of why they won championships. So
Right. So I'm glad that you said a big piece on why they won championships. It's a couple Warriors fans that feel like even if, the Draymond Green ship, the big three in total ship sails with Draymond ultimately departing this offseason coming up, feel like you guys can still win championships. How do you feel about that if he was to depart from the Golden State Warriors?
I think at this current moment today, they're not able to win a championship without Draymond. However, they do have some very good young guys. Kuminga, Moses Moody, James Wiseman. You even got Jordan Poole. How well does he develop? You have Wiggins. Some of these guys do have to get better so they can get into a position where they can win a championship without Draymond. But to me, as currently constructed as they are now, I don't think they could win, for instance, the 2023 championship without Draymond.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping you said that. Actually, I was hoping you did say otherwise. But yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, first off, congrats to Wiggins and Poole on that big extension. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins for taking about 9 to 10 mil less to make that all work as well. Again, Jordan Poole's probably my second favorite guy for sure on the Warriors. Curry has to not arguably, but easily be first. Been a Curry fan for too damn long, since Davidson all the way up to the NBA. But Jordan Poole, man, I love everything about his game. But when you have the chance to, who does have a player option, but to have a chance to potentially lose a guy like Draymond Green, the guy that anchors your defense, and I wouldn't say anchor your offense, but does a lot for the offense when it comes down to setting things up. He's like the floor general for me, if you ask me. While Curry and Clay do a lot of off-ball playmaking with their gravity and things like that. But if you guys to lose Draymond, yeah, same. I don't think you guys can win a championship without him. But you guys do have the young guys like Wiseman, Kuminga, Poole, and maybe even a Moody, maybe even a Patrick Baldwin who can emerge and step up to be something for the future. You guys have a nice building block of old veterans or veterans in general with a young core coming up as well. So I think the first year or two, maybe just the first year, like say for example next year, you guys probably would not be able to win the championship with Clay going up and Curry going up in age. Not that age got anything to do with how they play on the court. They get a lot of threes up and they're obviously durable, or they obviously have a lot of stamina and so forth, running around the court all game. But yeah, I don't think you guys can probably plot a championship without Draymond. But it is what it is. So with the game tomorrow, I would like to say you guys are facing the Los Angeles Lakers, who roster makeup is a little concerning to me. Westbrook is probably going to be coming off the bench. I'm not saying tomorrow, but when he is 100% healthy after that hamstring injury. What are you looking forward to seeing in that matchup tomorrow? Was ultimately y'all guys' ring ceremony?
Yeah, when it comes to the Lakers, it's a lot of question marks, right? You have LeBron, you have Anthony Davis, who probably feel like after last season that they have a lot to prove. Russell Westbrook has a lot to prove, especially after last season and what's gone on this summer in the conversations about, how good is he still. So, I mean, when you have guys with a lot to prove, anything can happen. Their roster, it's a weird roster. It's, not ideal for one to compete for a championship, but hey, I mean, they just have to be better on, ring night. And I feel like a night like opening night would make a lot of difference in their season if the Lakers were to somehow pull it out. Because funny enough, in a similar situation, the Warriors went to Los Angeles for opening night,
right,
and you saw them win a big game, and you saw the seasons of both teams kind of rise and fall kind of based on how that night went. So, the Lakers, they've definitely been much maligned over the summer, and, a night like beating the champs could definitely do a lot for their confidence. But, you got LeBron, you got AD, so anything's possible. But the Warriors should win that game. But
so would you still say the Warriors should win, even though Steve Kerr came out today and said pretty much the starters are the key guys? He particularly specifically named Curry, Poole, Clay, Dre, and I want to did he Wiggins?
Like
Wiggins,
the conditioning.
The conditioning. Yeah, you guys will be relying on your depth for game one or for the first couple of weeks. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess they were shorter, of an offseason sort of because of they were in the finals. I know they had that trip to Japan, and so I guess that kind of played into it. And then obviously you had a lot of what was going on over the last week or so. So I mean, a lot of things probably played into it. They're probably going to lean on their depth, but I think it's a situation to where if it's the fourth quarter and the game is close, and their starters are about to hit that minute count or something, he's probably just going to run them as much as he can. So I think it's one of those things that, ideally he doesn't want to play them any more than, 28, 30, 29, 30 minutes, whatever it is. But I feel like if he needs to, he'll probably play them, more at the end of the game, if that makes sense. So.
Nah, for sure. I definitely agree with you. And that's not even really a concern for any Warriors fans when you have a roster like that where pretty much 10, 11 guys can start. Well, the bench can start any other potentially team in the NBA. But let's go ahead and shift to the other matchup that's tomorrow before we dive into who we think is going to win MVP, Rookie of the Year, and what else?
Coach of the Year, stuff like that, 6-man and stuff.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year, 6-man, and give me an early prediction on the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. But Celtics was just in the NBA Finals against you guys. We're up 2-1, and then ultimately lost 3 games in a row. The Sixers, who retooled and added some guys, Montrez, DeAnthony, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, and so forth, retooled their roster, coming back with I would say, a more so engaged, healthy James Harden with Joel Embiid, who's always on a mission, and Tyrese Maxey, who's emerging to be a potential star. What are you looking forward to that matchup tomorrow, and how do you feel about both teams as of right now going into the season?
I feel like the Sixers are probably the definition of a dark horse if you're talking about being able to win the Eastern Conference, because you have Joel, who's going to be Joel. The key is going to be James Harden, right? Where a lot has been made about last season, the injury that he had, the injury he suffered against Milwaukee, that being lingering and things like that. now the talk is James Harden is completely healthy. And if you look this offseason, he's really seemed to have committed to his body. He's really committed to the Sixers, like taking less money. It feels like James Harden's really locked in. And that could be potentially scary if you're getting a James Harden that was closer to what he was that first year in Brooklyn. You pair that with Joel Embiid, you're talking about potentially the best duo in the NBA, the best one too. So when you have talents like that, and then you have an up-and-coming star in Tyrese Maxey, like we just talked about Jordan Poole. Well, Tyrese Maxey's one of those guys. So, that's a team that, you could look in April and May, and you're like, where did they come from? We did not see this in the summer. And, Boston's a little more it's tough for a team to recover from losing in the finals.
Right.
Especially when it's a young team. You don't see a lot of young teams lose in the finals and then bounce back.
Good point.
And then you had the whole, now they don't have their coach for an entire season. And as good as the interim might be, we don't know. I don't think nobody really knows a lot about him. Ime did a lot for that run. Like, especially when they started off bad, and Ime did a lot in turning that around. So that's going to be, we're going to find out a lot about mentally who guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, we're going to find out a lot mentally about who those guys are. But, on paper, they have the roster to get back. But that's a tough one for me to expect a team to just go back. Like, I kind of sense something more like what happened to Phoenix, right?
Oh,
like, you go to the finals, then you have all these expectations, and then all of a sudden, for one reason or another, it just crumbles.
You think Boston can be a meltdown? Like, well, Phoenix still went to the Western Conference Finals, though.
Well, Phoenix was.
But I'm wrong. They did not go to the Western Conference Finals. My bad. But my fault. I apologize.
Right.
To Dallas and Golden State. But yeah, Phoenix, go ahead. You think Boston can go out in the second round like that? Like, they can be.
So here's the thing, right? So you have Milwaukee in the East, right? A lot of people expect Giannis to be in the thick of things when Eastern Conference Finals. You've got Philly, who, again, that's a dark horse right there. You have, Miami was just there, right? Like Game 7 of the East Finals, and, a bounce here, a bounce there. We had been talking about Miami in the finals, right? So I think when it comes to losing a guy like Ime Udoka, that's the thing. Like, coaching is not as big in NBA as it is in NFL, but coaching really makes a difference, especially when you're talking about when those young guys hit adversity and having a guy like that to help carry them through. Boston, if they get to the finals, it wouldn't be shocking, but I wouldn't. If you're asking me to put money on it, Boston would not be. I would probably put money on Milwaukee at least before I put money on Boston, and maybe Philly. I don't know. The Philly thing is, I'm kind of 50-50 on who I would bet between those two teams, but losing a coach is going to hurt a lot more than people think, even with as good as their roster is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I remember when the news went down like it was yesterday. I had Alex Stern, the Nets reporter, one of the Nets reporters on an episode the same day the trade happened. And we had a discussion around James Harden and Ben Simmons and so forth. And I was saying, like, if you pair James Harden with Joel Embiid, to me, that's two top 10 players in the NBA. And it's real difficult to beat two top 10 players in the NBA. We've seen it with KD and Curry. We've seen it with LeBron and D-Wade. I think
LeBron and AD.
We've seen it with LeBron and AD. So, like, typically when two top 10 guys pair up, it comes with a championship in the end. We've seen it 3 times on 3 different occasions. Well, Warriors two-peated. the Heat two-peated and the Lakers
Yep.
did. So we've seen it 5 times in the last 10 years, right?
And the funny thing is though, right? Because out of all those teams I mentioned in the East, I didn't even mention Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to mention Brooklyn.
They slipped my mind. And the funny thing about Brooklyn is that's another team. It's like you got a lot to prove, and whatever you say, whatever you want about, however you feel about Kevin Durant, about his mental toughness, whatever the trade, whatever. Kevin Durant is still a top 5 caliber player, right? Maybe top 3, like he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have Kyrie Irving, who that's a special talent on a night in, night out basis. Now you pair those guys. Now the Ben Simmons thing is key because Ben can do a lot for them if they utilize him the right way. That Ben Simmons thing, I don't know, like, if he would be an all-star. Like, he could be. That's possible. But he could be a guy that, like, he could be the Draymond for the Nets. Maybe not quite that, but a lot of things that we do with Draymond, especially offensively and defensively, the Nets can do it, Ben, given his versatility and skill set, right? He's 6'10". He can guard, he can effectively guard 1 through 4. Can he guard centers? I don't know. There's not a lot of, quote unquote dominant centers in the league anyway, but you could, there's so many things they could do with Ben. And defensively, that's an element they haven't had since KD and Kyrie got there, right?
Right.
A defensive monster like that. So, if you're talking about teams that could potentially win the East, like I said, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee. You could throw the Nets in that mix too, right? Just because of who their top guys are.
Just to circle back real quick to that Sixers and Celtics game tomorrow. Before we move forward, tell me, who do you even have winning that game tomorrow, real quick?
I think. Let me see. It's in Boston, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's in Boston.
I'm gonna. That's a tough one, I'm gonna say just because it's in Boston, Boston probably wins that game. Yeah, I'm gonna say Boston wins that game.
Okay. I know over recent years, and pretty much if you ask me, the reason why they signed him to that max contract that he's on right now, Al Horford, and I'm referring to Philly, was known as like the Embiid stopper.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and side with Philly in Game 1. I think they're gonna come out and try to let the league know, yeah, these guys been in the finals last year, but yeah, we're serious. They went out in the second round again, pretty usual to Miami last season. But I think they're going to try to set a tone. And just to continue on about Philly, while I was going before you can chime back in, 2 top 10 players. We got like 7 minutes. 2 top 10 players. Boston was without Robert Williams for the first couple of months of the season, and no coach, like you said. So who knows how that's going to go? But tomorrow I'm gonna pick Philly. Real quick, Jordan. Again, 7 minutes. Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals preview matchup. Who do you think is going to go early? And then give me your rookie of the year. Whoa, you still there, Jordan? All right. So it was a quick technical difficulties. We're going to jump right back in. Jordan, Eastern Conference and Western Conference. I know it's early preseason. Let me know who you got before the season kickoff tomorrow. Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals matchups.
All right. So in the East, I got the Bucks and the. I'm gonna say Bucks and Nets.
I don't got that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't got that.
I'm tempted to throw Philly's name in there, but
people probably not gonna like this, but it's probably gonna be, or probably not agree, but it's gonna be something to look back on for me. And if I'm right, I'm probably gonna be right. It'll be a good thing to be right about. Early season kicking off tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Heat. The Heat been in the finals one time in the last 3 conference finals, another time. So I'm gonna probably think the East. I'm gonna probably say the Heat will make it. I think Tyler Hero will take another leap this season. He got better every single year that he's been in the league. Bam, I think he's gonna be more aggressive offensively. He's been shooting mid-range jump shots, been shooting a couple 3-point shots as well. Depot, first full off season.
Yeah.
I think he's re-engaged, he's re-energized to show the world and re-motivated to show the world that he's still that guy, can still play at an all-star level caliber player. I'm not saying he is, or I'm not saying he's going to play like that, but that's what he believes. So I think the Heat, and I'm gonna say Philly, man. Again, I'm high on Harden and Embiid. I love the duo. Whenever you got a point guard and a center like that with side pieces, I'm a Maxey, Tobias, and PJ Tucker. You can't really go too wrong with that. And I gotta say Philly and Miami meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not gonna say who wins that yet because I don't know. But what you think about what I just said? Who you got for the West?
Pick. Like, it's just a funny feeling. I just feel like we're gonna get another Giannis and Kevin Durant playoff series. Might not be the East Finals. I'm picking it to be the East Finals, but I feel like that's another matchup. We're gonna get that again. But now the West is, I think Golden State goes back. Right? Obviously, they've done too much and they've proven too much to me to at least pick against them to go to the conference finals. Now their opponent, the popular pick would be to pick the Clippers. It really would, right? Because on paper, they have it all. But I'm going to go with Denver in this spot, actually. Because I think Jokic is improving as a player. Like, he's getting better every year. And he was, obviously back-to-back MVP. And now you're adding Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and they have a lot of pieces to me in that mix. So, like I said, I know the Clippers are going to be the trendy pick. That's a popular pick, but, I like Denver in this spot here. Warriors and Nuggets.
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals.
For me, as bad as I want to say Luka to make it back again, and we know he's been a killer in the playoffs the 3 years in a row that he made it. 2 against LA, taking down Utah, returning after missing 3 games, beating who the hell did they play in the second round? Phoenix. Beating Phoenix, and then having a good shot at Golden State, but they missed a lot of 3-pointers in some games, and they probably could have did it, but ultimately the boxing one that Golden State played on Luka was just a little too much, and Brunson and Dinwiddie just wasn't performing to the best of their abilities, game in and game out. I'm probably going to say Golden State, and I'm gonna say the same team. I think Denver. I think if MPJ is healthy all year, and that's a big if. I'm more concerned about him potentially getting hurt again than Jamal Murray, to be honest, because them back issues that he's been having dates all the way back to high school, college. So I think they really, really need MPJ to be healthy. But they added Bruce, they added KP Pope.
And the funny thing is, it feels like Denver has more of a nucleus. As odd as it sounds, right? Because we've seen Murray and Jokic quite a bit, right? The thing about the Clippers is it's always a lot of ifs and would haves, and it just, I don't know. Like the Clippers, I guess a lot of people think this is the year for them, and it could very well be. But well, you talk about the health with MPJ. It's I don't know if I could trust the health of their stars, especially Kawhi, right? Because every time they're right there, somebody goes down, right? It's supposed to have been the Clippers here ever since Kawhi got there. What are we on now? Year 4, right? Of Ben being there. So that's not something I'm on paper. Right, they have it all, but in this league, a lot of people who on paper are the best usually are not there. For whatever reason, whether you chalk it up to injuries, whether you chalk it up to not executing, I'm gonna say Denver though. One of those 2 teams I feel like is gonna beat the Clippers in 7 games in the second round or something like that, and then face off each other in the Western Conference Finals.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and close this episode out with the final questions. Give me who you got for MVP, Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, and ultimately last Coach of the Year.
All right, so I think Rookie of the Year is I'm gonna say it's easy, but I think it's hard to see anybody but Banchero winning it, or anybody winning it but Banchero. Like, I think he looks the most ready.
Mm.
I will say that guy from Sacramento, Keegan Murray, like, that's a sleeper pick, but I think Powell is probably the choice here. For Sixth Man of the Year, I think might be a little biased, but I mean, I'm wondering if, like, Jordan Poole isn't just the best pick here, right? Like, he's gonna be coming off the bench. He's got that contract. He's probably got, like, got a lot to prove. The Warriors are gonna win a lot of games. He's probably gonna average somewhere in the neighborhood of 17, 18, 19 points a game. Like, I'll probably have to go with Jordan Poole. MVP. Oof. MVP.
I just want to say, I have Jordan Poole all for the same reasons. I think Jordan Poole is easily probably the favorite going into the season for Sixth Man of the Year. Kevin Love, who was a close second last year, or maybe even finished third to Tyler Hero, should be in that same ballpark or that same bracket again. But I think ultimately Jordan Poole, coming down to the stats and the wins and the key games and the closing minutes that he's going to be a part of, I can't say Kevin Love is going to be a part of those same closing minutes like Jordan Poole is. So I'll probably lean to Jordan Poole for the Sixth Man of the Year. And then before you go, I don't want to just make you just list all of them off the top of your head like that. Rookie of the Year for me, I'm going to go with Jaden Ivey. I think he's going to have some good ball time to get comfortable and acclimated into the NBA in Detroit with Cade Cunningham. I feel like they can be one of the better backcourts in the league going forward. Paolo is probably the easy pick or a fan favorite, but I'm going to go ahead and side with Jaden on this one. He's coming in and being an instant starter, and he should have an instant impact. His game favors John Morant and guys like Derrick Rose, and getting downhill, being super fast with the ball. John Wall. I'm expecting big things out of Jaden Ivey this year. He might have a hit a rookie wall, but toward the end of the year, like Cade Cunningham, for example, after the All-Star break, he averaged about 22 or so and was playing good basketball. I think Jaden later on, probably December on down, is going to have a similar type of impact, 15, 16 points per game, doing this thing. You can go ahead for MVP.
Yeah, what were we on? MVP? Ooh. MVP. It feels like at some point, like, it's got to be Luka to actually lose, right? Like, I'm gonna say Luka. I'm gonna say Embiid. I think those two are gonna be your top two candidates for next year, and I think it's gonna be Luka this time. Even though Dallas may not be, at the top of the Western Conference, I think it may be in a situation with Jokic last year where he's doing so much, where I think this is the offseason where he actually takes his body seriously, and there is no slow start. He just comes out the gates firing, and I think you could potentially look at a season where Luka averages somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 to 35 a game. Like, I think Luka could really do that this season, especially given that Brunson is out, or they don't have Brunson anymore. So he's probably going to have to do a little more. And I'm going to go with Luka here. I'm going with Luka.
Yeah. And again, we did this on Twitter Spaces about last week. Again, make sure you follow the Twitter. It's at Facts and Stats _ Twitter Spaces are hosted literally every single day at 11 a.m. Come check me out there as well. I am getting back active on YouTube as well, so you can also check me out here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, by the way. For MVP, I went with Luka for the same exact reasons, so I'm going to just go ahead and move forward. my favorite player in the league. I think it's his time. Long as the Mavericks hold a fourth, fifth seed, maybe more so four, and average closer to 39-9, 38-8, like he's been doing the past couple of seasons. Not more so 30, more so 27, 28. But this season, I'm saying I want 30. He should be right in that spot to finally get his MVP trophy. Defensive player of the year for me. I think he's been in the range the last 2 years. He has two All NBA defensive second teams, I believe. Bam Adebayo. I think as long as he's healthy this year, this may be the year that he finally gets his Defensive Player of the Year trophy. What you got for Defensive Player of the Year?
You know what? I like the Bam pick. Because I'm thinking now, like, you know, because Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be out for a while. Draymond Green, that's another popular one. But I think he's kind of it's almost like a voter fatigue thing. I kind of think his time probably is kind of past, and he's probably not going to be going as hard every single night. Rudy Gobert, obviously he's going to be in the mix, but I actually like Bam Adebayo on this spot too. Like, he's individually right up there with those guys. I think if I had to pick three, it would probably be Bam, probably Rudy, and then I think Anthony Davis brings himself back into that mix. Like, I think this is kind of the year where Anthony Davis, you hear the talk, right? Over the last couple of years, can't stay healthy, not as good anymore. I think you're going to see a lot in Los Angeles where I don't know what record-wise it's going to amount to be, but I think you're going to see something special from Anthony Davis this season. But I do like Bam for this award, though.
All right, close us out with Most Improved and Coach of the Year. What you got?
Ooh, okay. Coach of the Year. Let me see. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with. That's a tough. I'm gonna go with Mike Malone for that spot because I think Denver is probably going to be the team that probably has the best record in the Western Conference in the regular season, or at least top 2 seed. And I think Mike Malone, his name is never really mentioned when it comes to some of the better coaches in the league. And I do think this is kind of the year where I think he begins to get more of the respect he's been deserving, honestly. And you said Most Improved. Ooh. Most Improved. That's a tough one. Let me see. I mean, actually, you brought up a name earlier. Like, Oladipo should be eligible for that, wouldn't he? Like,
yeah, Oladipo already won it though. He won it in the Indiana year. He won Most Improved and was All-Star.
Okay, yeah, he probably won't win it twice. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna chime in while you're thinking about that. For me, Coach of the Year, I'm going with Eric Spoelstra. I feel like he had a good case for it last year. I know a couple people said Willie Green in the Spaces. To me, that's a good pick as well. Eric Spoelstra led the Heat to 53 and 29. And I feel like he's finally getting the respect that he deserves. More so, people feel like he was LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh made. But in this past NBA GM survey, the yearly GM survey, he got voted as the best coach in the league. And I think long as the Heat win 50 plus games, as they did last season, being a first seed, I'm not saying they're going to be a first seed again. Maybe top 2, top 3. I think he should be right in that mix to be finally get that Coach of the Year award that I feel like he deserves. So that's for me. Most Improved Player, I'm going with Tyrese Maxey. The guy is super efficient from 3. He's super efficient from the field. Playing alongside Harden and B, he should be the same exact way this season. Also, him being a better player than he was last year, getting better in the offseason. He's one of them guys that I feel like every time he shoots the ball, it's going in, to be honest with you. I think he did 17 points per game last year. Longest he upstat to about 20, 21, more so 21, 22. And that's a tough task to ask for Tyrese Maxey playing with Harden and B. But if he can average about 20, 21 points, more efficient, I feel like he'd be in the case for Most Improved Player.
Yes. So if Maxey gets to that point where he takes a leap so much that he wins that award, Philly's gonna be something in there. Philly's definitely gonna be dangerous if he takes that kind of leap.
Yeah.
I did think of a name though. I think and I hate kind of saying a top overall pick for the award, but Anthony Edwards. I think similar to what kind of the leap that Morant made.
Yeah.
I think you could see something like that from Anthony Edwards, and I think you kind of saw a taste of what he could do in the playoffs. Even though he's probably he's not their best player, he's probably not even their second best player, but something tells me he's going to be the one that they feature the most. Like, he's the one that, now it's going to be a tall task, but he may average the most points a game on that team, even over Cat. Even if I think Cat's a better player. Like, I think he could be in for like around the range of 24 a game. That's something to me, that's possible. Like, I think that's Anthony Edwards, I think, is a name I like here. Like I said, I don't necessarily like number 1, number 2, number 3 overall picks for most improved, because you kind of come into the league, you're supposed to be like,
Yeah, I feel you.
But, given the way the award's been voted, like, I think Anthony Edwards wins it.
All right. Well, look, Jordan, I appreciate you coming on. This is episode 82 of Facts and Stats. If you made it to the end, again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I am active on Twitter Spaces every day at Facts and Stats _ at 11 a.m. Jordan, again, thank you, bro, and appreciate you. Any last words before you go?
Oh, no, just tune into Facts and Stats. It's a place for great debate. As long as you can hold your own in a debate, then Facts and Stats is the place for you. So.
I appreciate you, bro, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right.